What up, YouTube? I'm back. Today we're going to go over what you all know is one of my favorite firearms. My very first YouTube video, which was only about 3-4 months ago, was about this firearm. And looking back at that video, I didn't really know what I was doing as far as YouTube goes. So I don't think the video did this weapon for me any justice. And I'm gonna get back into it. If you don't know, that is a Glock 45. My favorite Glock. My first Glock. So it's not perfect. It's not highly modified. It was my introduction to Glock after a long time, 20 years of avoiding the manufacturer at all costs. We talked before about how I even got to the point of deciding that I was going to jump off the deep end and get a Glock. When I did it, what brought my attention to it was the Glock 19 and 19X, excuse me, the 19X, and how much people were talking about it. That made me start looking at Glock. And then a few people that I follow on YouTube and have for a long time talked about their love for the Glock 19X. And one person in particular, he didn't say anything about the 19X that I saw. He kept talking about this Glock 45. So that set me out on this journey for this Glock 45. And surprisingly, I live in Middle Georgia, Warner Robins to be exact. I'm an Air Force veteran. Here, man, I was seeing 19s, 23s, 22s, 17s. I could find any Glock that I was looking for readily available at most of these places. And I could not find this Glock 45, and that's what I wanted. Then it turned into some bullshit. I end up finding it. Boom. I go find it. I put my hands on it. I still wasn't impressed. It was a Glock. It was something that I had told myself I hated. I bought the MOS version. I got it home. Immediately, I liked how it felt in my hand. I was impressed with that. I was cool with the weight distribution. I was cool with the slide size. But I still didn't know. I just didn't know. So I go on this journey. I put a different optic on it to begin with. At this point, I don't even remember what it was, the red dot that I put on it. But I put it on there. I didn't like it. I knew that the first thing that I most certainly did not like about this firearm were the sights that were on it, the factory sights. So I immediately took those off. Got these Ameriglows, put those on. I loved them. I took the other red dot off that I initially put on there. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try to keep this thing as Glock specific as it comes to parts that are specifically for it. I don't want to fuck with no plates. I don't want to be trying shit. And I'm not a fan of suppressor height sights because I'm not a suppressor guy on handguns. Nothing against them. It's just not my thing. I don't care that it's loud. I don't need to be quiet shooting a handgun. I understand that people like it and why they like it. It's just ain't me. So I didn't need suppressor height sights. I got sights that I like. So I got this Holosun SCS green dot that is for the MOS 45. And again, I be forgetting this shit because it's ignorant to me. This magazine is empty. This weapon is clear. There's no ammunition in or around this firearm. I am in a controlled, clear, and safe environment. There is nothing in the direction that this handgun is pointing, and if I turn it the other way, there's nothing in that direction either. I have a 360-degree zone of safety other than where I'm at, and of course, I'm not going to point it at myself. So I get that Holosun on there. I wasn't happy with the window size, but it was a green dot, and I knew that I preferred green over red, even though I got a lot that have red on it. I prefer the green. So boom, it's the multi-reticle system. I never change it, so shit, I might not even remember how to change it for y'all. I know you can only change the brightness between two different settings. But you can go from what I have there, I don't know how clear that is for y'all. Just cut it off. We got that one. Then we got the solid dot. We have that one. The first one that you saw, there's a small, I can see it clearly from here, but there's the big circle, then there's a small dot, and then inside of the circle. I ran with that one for a minute when I first got it because I didn't change anything. Then I started playing with it one day at the range, and I ended up here. I like it there. That's normally how I run it. So that's where it stays. Then, of course, I can just click and change it to bright or not as bright. So I normally keep it not as bright. It works for me day or nighttime. So I start carrying this gun every day. And I still was talking shit about Glock as I was carrying it. I was telling everybody that I came in contact with that it was some plain bullshit that lacked innovation. And in comparison to other things that I owned and carried for so many years, it was far behind. Then I start shooting it straight out of the box. Pretty fucking accurate. I mean, it's 9 mil, so of course it has some recoil, but it's not something that you can't manage. I don't consider 9 millimeter to be a recoil monster. So it was easy to get on target. It was easy to stay on target. It was easy to put rounds down range. And to this day, I have not had a single resemblance of a malfunction with this weapon. The other thing that I absolutely had to do, I wanted this TLR 7X. So at the same time that I got into red dots or green dots on firearms, I got into flashlights on firearms. I normally used to run my firearms butt naked the way that they came. I probably would change out the sights because I was an iron sight guy for so long that there were certain sights that I liked on certain platforms. So I would change out the sights, but I didn't get into the flashlights. I didn't get into the optics. And then one day I woke up and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get into it. And I did. So I'm into it now. I understand the practicality behind it, but I came up in a law enforcement environment and professional environment where you had a flashlight and you did what you did with both hands, flashlight in one, pistol in the other, boom, run and gun, whatever. Times change. This is easier. I like it. I'm not going back. So there's that. I heard all the talk about Glock triggers, and they were spongy and they were rolly, or you couldn't feel the wall. You got people that say don't touch the trigger. You got people say that trigger has to go. I was nowhere in between that because I'm coming from Smith and Wesson and FN and SIG, and these are people that just don't have the best triggers. So I never was a trigger snob. But the gun was so muted and blacked out, I wanted to do something. So I didn't change the entire trigger assembly. I changed the trigger shoe. That's the only thing that's different on here is the trigger shoe. It's just the shoe. The internals are the same. That's a Tyrant CNC trigger shoe that's on there. I bought it, threw it in. It fits me. I like the way it feels. It's audible. I mean, it does everything it's supposed to do. I haven't had a single malfunction since I put it in, and people have their reason for saying, "Oh, you shouldn't change the trigger. You shouldn't mess with the internal." Some dude commented the other day, "What are you going to do if you have to shoot somebody and the prosecutor asks why you changed the trigger?" I'm not worried about that. I've shot somebody with one of my firearms, and I did whatever the process needed to be done, and I came out on top because I was justified in my shoot. Y'all dig too deep into certain shit that don't really matter. I've shot somebody in my personal life in a personal capacity, and I've been in shootings in a professional capacity. So I'm gonna handle the situation as it comes. I ain't getting caught up in the what ifs and the bullshit. I'm gonna take whatever comes, and if I'm justified, and I'm gonna be justified in the fact that if I have to shoot somebody, I'm gonna deal with that. So miss me with that bullshit too. This one, I've been carrying it every day. I fell in love with it. I'm still not a Glock snob, even though I've probably bought 4 or 5 or 6 between now and then. I can't even remember now. Now I'm at the point that me and this baby here been riding for a minute, and I love her. I ain't no problem. I'll never get rid of her. But I'm ready to do something else with it. So my initial thought was, I'm gonna strip all this stuff off. I'm gonna send that slide off. I'm gonna get a chunk port put in it. I'm gonna go with a different style trigger. Definitely a different mag well. I'll order that today. I'm gonna get the ambidextrous slide stop, and I'm gonna change it up a little bit. And I tossed that around. And I was like, you know what? It's functional. That was my intro to Glock, and I'm kind of superstitious, if you will, about getting rid of or changing something that I bought for the first time, the one of one. So I'm not gonna do anything to it. I'm gonna keep this one like I have it. What I am going to do, well, my next thought was I'll buy a non-MOS 45 because I've seen some used ones for some pretty decent prices. I'll buy a non-MOS 45. I'll send the slide off, get it directly cut for, and y'all ain't gonna like this, but I don't give a fuck. Get it directly cut for a solid bear because there's a company, I'll send them the optic and the slide and they'll cut it for that, so I won't have to run any plates because I'm not a fan of plates. Get the chunk port put in it, or Lucky Sevens. I hadn't decided which one I'm gonna do. And I just redo that one. Then I was like, you know what? Again, here we go, getting ready to spend $700-800, including the gun, to get all this stuff done when I don't need to do that. I have the cousin to this firearm, which, as y'all know, that's that 19X. So instead of me going and getting another one and doing all of those things to it, and as I talk, I'm gonna show you this. I can do all of that to this, and that's probably what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get a direct cut. I did find a company that does the barrel crown, and I'll probably get the barrel crown. It still has a factory trigger in it, so I'm good there. But yeah, man, the things that I wanted to do to my 45, I'm gonna end up doing to this 19X. So with me doing the chunk port or the Lucky Sevens, getting it direct milled for the optic, probably upgrading the trigger, but it's not going to be that. It's probably going to be a Trigger Shark. I don't know. I've been hearing about the Trigger Shark. I got to do some more research. It's probably going to be this one I do everything to. And then the only thing I'm going to do to that 45 that I've been debating since I had it is I'm going to go ahead and stop playing around and put that radiant on it. So it's going to have a radiant ramjet here soon. And that's going to be its final form. The other thing that I don't have in here, and I'll just tell you what it is before you even get the video later on. I did buy the Gen 5 Glock 23, the 40 caliber. I bought the KK, I can't remember the brand. I bought a 357 SIG barrel that's for the Gen 5 to put in that 23. And I also bought a 19 barrel that's for that Gen 5 23 to put in there for the 9mm. So I'll be able to run 3 different calibers through that firearm. It's the non-MOS one. I'm gonna send it off and get it direct milled also, but I'm probably gonna put my Holosun 507C on there and run that. I am gonna chunk port that one, and I'm gonna run it like that, man. So I'll have all 3 barrels cut for that firearm. I have it set up the way that I want it set up and be able to run 3 different calibers through it. Now, that's not a firearm that I intend on EDCing. So I don't mind doing those things to it that may affect the reliability because it's not something that I'm going to be carrying. I have certain guns that I limit what I do to them because I need them to be in their most reliable form because I carry them. And that 23 is not going to be one. I got other 40 cals that I would prefer to carry on me than that. So we're going to play with that one. We're going to get this 19X going. I'm not going to do nothing wild with the color. That's not really my thing. I'm gonna just do what I want to do to it and see what it does. I'm interested to see what the 40 caliber and that Glock 23, how it reacts to a chunk port as far as the felt recoil. Not many videos out there that I've seen that kind of really go into it for the Gen 5. There's a few for the Gen 3s and the Gen 4s, but we're gonna take this journey down to Gen 5. But that ain't what we hear about, man. This Glock 45. I almost fucked my baby up. I almost said I was going to do some shit to her that I didn't need to fucking do. And now I'm not, man. I am going to change the magwell on this one because when I bought that magwell, I was being cheap because I was never expecting to like this Glock at all. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get it. I'm not going to like it. I'm going to stick to my guns and go back to what I know. But I fell in love with it. I still do. I've bought plenty of guns since the time that I bought this one. And yeah, I may carry them just to get them through my break-in period and get them to the point that I feel like I'm confident in carrying them. But all the roads for me of my everyday carry come back to this. Most days is going to be this and that prime that is with me at all times. Even that 43X that I bought, I don't dislike it. I'm waiting on this Radian to come available for that because I'm gonna put that on there as well. But this is we together. That's my bitch, man. We go together. We do good together. Every time I take it to the range and I go shoot whatever else I'm shooting for today, damn near every time I end the range day with this one, I gotta shoot it, man, because I carry it every day. It's with me the most, and I love to shoot it. Now, if there was one thing over this time that I decided does need to happen is the double undercut. I'm not really tripping on that. That's not a big thing for me. The grip texture is because I personally like more aggressive grip texture. I'm not a fan of the look of the tape or of the whatever the fuck you call it, the shit that's made for the gun that people peel off and it's still tape. It tapes on there. I'm not a fan of that. So I may walk down this stipple journey just because that would make this thing absolutely perfect. I'm not gonna lie to you. If that grip texture was just a little bit better, just a little, there would be no doubts about where this gun stands with me. There's really no doubts now, but that would just put it over the top for me. But again, I don't want to alter what works. So that may be something that also happens to that 19X. I think that's going to be the one that we just go balls to the wall and do everything that I would do to this too. And then I'll see how it works, how reliable it is, how it feels. If I feel like at that point, okay, that's something I'm willing to do to the 45. Either I'll do it to this one or I'll buy me another one to do it to. But Glock 45 MOS, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best Glock ever made. It's probably the only one that I will love to this level. And if you don't have one, or you're one of those people like me that is absolutely not a Glock guy, I think you should give it a shot. The 19 don't work for some people because of the grip length. Like that 23 for me, I put a mag extension on it, similar to this mag extension. That gives me a little bit more because it is shorter. That's why I'm not a fan of a standard 19. It's nothing to do with the mechanics of the firearm. I just need that 17 length lower to feel comfortable in shooting for me. Anyway, this video done ran way over and I missed half of the shit I said I was going to talk about. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And yes, this is the best Glock ever made as far as I'm concerned.